What if I told you that the absolute most profoundly wicked thing you could do today isn't lying
Right.
or cheating or even stealing? What if, like, the worst, most cosmically destructive act you could possibly commit is actually uh, attending a friend's wedding and encouraging them to start a family?
I mean, that sounds like the premise of a highly cynical, dystopian sci-fi novel.
Yeah.
Or maybe just, someone who really, really dislikes buying wedding gifts.
It sounds completely absurd. Like, to
Mhm.
anyone operating under a conventional moral framework, it's crazy. But we are absolutely not in a conventional framework today. So welcome to the Deep Dive.
Glad to be here.
And for you listening, today's mission is to explore a highly unconventional, honestly, truly radical spiritual philosophy that completely flips our baseline assumptions about morality, about good, evil, and really the very purpose of human society.
Yeah, we're looking at two translated philosophical texts today. They were written in March of 2011 by an author named Feng. And these writings, they're associated with groups like Lifechanyuan and the New Oasis for Life. And I want to be incredibly clear right at the top here.
It's always important.
We are not here to endorse this worldview. We're not taking any sides on its cultural or, political implications. Our goal is strictly to dissect the intellectual mechanics of this text.
To kind of see how it ticks.
Exactly, to understand how it constructs a universe where our fundamental societal values are just turned completely upside down.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because before we can even begin to touch on what this philosophy considers, like good or evil, we have to understand the physical and the metaphysical laws of the universe it operates within.
We really do, yeah.
The very first text starts by looking outward at the human condition. It asks you, the listener, a direct question. Have you ever experienced afflictions, vexation, anxiety, sadness, and fear?
Which obviously we all have.
Right. And it asks, have you been cheated or bullied? Do you know why all this happens?
And most people, if you ask them that, they'd answer through the lens of psychology, or sociology, or maybe just bad luck.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm anxious because of my brain chemistry.
Exactly. Or if you're bullied, well, that's just a flaw in human nature. But the author, Feng, he bypasses all of that completely.
Oh, completely.
He states that all of this suffering is the direct result of a structural mechanism, something he calls the devil's program.
Right. So if there's a program, I'm assuming as a reader that this operates like traditional karma, right?
Yeah.
You put bad energy out, you get bad energy back.
Sure, that makes sense.
And the devil is just there to punish the sinners.
You would naturally assume that based on, well, how most spiritual frameworks operate. But no, that is where this text takes a really sharp left turn.
It really does.
To understand the devil's program, you have to look at the underlying physics of this specific universe. The text outlines this strict, unbreakable law. It's called the unity of opposites.
Right. The universe is governed by absolute symmetry, superior and inferior, bright and dark, heaven and hell.
Carnivores and herbivores.
Yeah. And Feng uses this very blunt, almost biological analogy to explain this. For a human being, eating and drinking form natural opposites with deification.
It's very blunt, but it works. One literally cannot exist without the other.
They inherently complement each other. So the great drama of the universe simply cannot be staged without this opposition.
Precisely. And the crucial philosophical pillar here, the thing you have to grasp, is the concept of energy. According to this text, the sum of positive energy and negative energy in the universe must equal 0.
Wow. Must equal absolute 0.
Yes.
Not mostly positive, not like we're slowly inching toward the light over millennia. We're talking a perfectly balanced, completely neutral scale.
Whatever goes in must come out. For humans to survive, plants and animals must be consumed. The text argues that the lower order of life must serve the higher order of life.
Because the universe is this enclosed system of energy transfer.
Exactly. If some entities ascend to heaven, there has to be a corresponding weight on the other side of the scale. Someone or something has to go to hell to maintain that zero-sum balance.
Which brings us to, honestly, the most surprising detail in this entire framework. Because if the universe requires a perfect zero-sum balance of positive and negative energy, well, someone has to manage the negative side of the ledger.
Someone has to do the dirty work.
Right. Someone has to maintain the deficit.
Yeah.
And that introduces us to the text's truly shocking redefinition of Satan.
What's fascinating here is how the author completely strips away the traditional malice, the pure, gleeful wickedness that we usually associate with the devil.
Yeah, in this framework, Satan isn't this malicious monster lurking in the shadows, torturing souls out of sheer hatred for the divine.
Not at all.
I mean, the text literally refers to Satan as a deity, an archangel and chief angel.
Satan is depicted as this highly burdened, incredibly hardworking cosmic employee. His assigned job is to basically toil away, maintaining that zero-sum balance.
No, it's that.
It is. The text explicitly says he is burdened with notoriety and bad name, but he's ultimately serving the life of the whole universe. How? By delivering life forms to the lower order and to hell.
I was trying to wrap my head around this when reading it, and the analogy that came to mind is that Satan, in this philosophy, is basically a cosmic sanitation worker.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Or like a really stressed out accountant. He's wearing a high-vis vest, carrying a clipboard, doing all the unglamorous, utterly thankless work required to keep the universe's spreadsheet perfectly balanced.
And he gets absolutely zero credit for it.
None. The text even notes that when someone takes the road to hell, Satan doesn't celebrate like some cartoon villain. He actually pities them. He looks at them and says, "What an ignorant fool you are."
It's a complete paradigm shift. The devil's program isn't an aberration. It isn't a cosmic mistake or a rebellion against God. It is a structural necessity.
Because without it, the text argues, the universe would lose its balance, life wouldn't survive, and everything would become, quote, listless and pale.
The devil is simply holding the power of the angels in check, so the whole system doesn't just tip over.
But wait, if Satan isn't this evil tempter in the traditional sense, and he's just doing a necessary administrative job for the universe,
Yeah.
how exactly does he get people to balance his books? If Satan needs negative energy, I'm assuming his trap is getting people to commit obvious crimes, like murder, theft, generating chaos.
And again, that's a totally logical assumption based on everything we've been taught. But the trap is far more insidious here. The text explains that the devil's program operates through temptation, but not just the temptation of base, violent desires.
Right.
It tempts people with money, wealth, fame, position, power, and comfort. And the ultimate goal of these temptations isn't to turn you into a criminal.
And what is it?
It is to lure you into institutions.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Because the institutions the text names are the very pillars of human society. We're talking about marriage, the traditional family, the nation state, religions, businesses, and organizations. The devil's trap isn't getting you to break the law. The trap is getting you to participate in society.
It's a sweeping critique of human ambition, of collectivism, really. The text argues that once you enter these structures, you are kept constantly busy rushing about for them.
Yeah, you rack your brain, you take risks.
Exactly. You struggle for your family's interest, your country's interest, your company's interest. And in doing so, you inevitably generate the friction, anxiety, and conflict that produces the negative energy Satan needs.
The author actually provides a checklist, too, like 18 road signs that indicate you're on the road of devils. And the whiplash you get reading this list is intense.
Oh, it really is.
Some of it tracks perfectly with standard morality, like you're on the road of the devil if you are stealing, robbing, mugging, or killing. Okay, universally condemned. You're on the road of devils if you are polluting rivers and the air with chemical waste. Again, makes total sense. But then, right alongside murder and pollution, the text says you are on the road of devils if you are, quote, in marriage and family, rushing about for your own family.
Or if you are striving and struggling for your own country or your religion.
I just have to push back here because this is where the philosophy feels utterly alien to me. How can providing food for your children be equated to polluting a river with chemical waste?
That sounds crazy, right?
Yeah. One is an act of creation, of care and love. The other is pure destruction. So how does the author justify lumping those together in the exact same category of cosmic evil?
To understand that, we have to really look at the mechanics of factions within this zero-sum universe. Think of human institutions like a massive dam built across a free-flowing river.
Okay, how did they?
When you get married, have kids, and draw a circle around a group of people saying, this is my family or this is my nation, you are building a dam. That dam creates a massive, secure reservoir of resources and love for the people inside it.
Sure, you're protecting your own. I mean, that's the evolutionary basis of human survival.
From a biological survival standpoint, yes, absolutely. But from a cosmic energy standpoint, what happens when you build a dam?
You block the river.
You inevitably cause a drought for everyone downstream. In a universe where resources and energy are absolute zero sum, prioritizing your family or your country requires you to accumulate resources at the expense of someone else.
Oh, wow. I see.
Your ambition for your child means another child might not get that spot at school, that job, that meal. The very act of caring for your faction breeds jealousy, competition, and conflict with other factions.
So the creation of the U.S. automatically necessitates of them.
Exactly. The text argues that the moment you join an organization or form a family, you lose your independence. You are forced into a state of constant striving. You are rushing around generating anxiety, fear, and competitive friction.
And that friction is the negative energy.
That is how you end up polluting the spiritual river, so to speak.
Man, so this reframes what we would just call responsibility as a form of spiritual bondage. The text even lists emotions like jealousy or making comparisons with others as signs you are on the devil's road.
Because comparing yourself to others is the engine of the very institutions the devil uses to trap you.
Right. If you aren't comparing yourself, you don't need the fame, the position, or the wealth. You don't need to build the dam.
It completely strips away the romance of human struggle. The guy working a grueling 9-to-5 job to pay his mortgage and feed his kids isn't viewed as a noble martyr. In this framework, he is just a battery generating negative energy for the cosmic ledger.
I want the listener to just think about that for a second. Think about your own life. Like, how much of your day is spent worrying about your family, your career, or your nation?
Most of it, for most people.
Right. And in this framework, all of that effort, all that stress, is exactly what the devil wants. Which brings up a massive question. If participating in traditional society, having a family, supporting a country, joining an organization, if all of that is the road of devils, then what on earth does a good person actually look like? If we tear down all the dams and strip all of that away, what is actually left?
Well, that brings us to the second text, which was written by Feng the very next day. It's titled The Standards of Good and Bad People. And here, the definition of a good person is entirely decoupled from societal success or charity or institutional loyalty.
The standards define good people as those who bring joy, happiness, freedom, and blessings to others.
They help others get through difficulties. They love and cherish nature.
And bad people, conversely, bring fear and anxieties, destroy nature, and make and spread rumors.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the core philosophy emerging here is one of radical non-attachment. It is almost a form of extreme asceticism, or like hyper-stoicism.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The text explicitly states that good people are those who can live independently but do not bring troubles or pain to others. Independence is the functional mechanism of goodness here.
Because if you are truly independent, you aren't hoarding resources for a faction.
Right. True goodness requires a total severing of earthly institutional attachments. You cannot be truly good if your allegiance is to a specific family unit or a specific nation.
Because those allegiances inevitably cause trouble or pain to those outside your circle.
Yeah.
So a good person in this framework exists almost like a gentle breeze.
I like that.
They move through the world, they appreciate nature, they bring a fleeting moment of joy to those they encounter, but they leave absolutely no institutional footprint behind.
Not at all.
Which brings us back to that wild premise we started with at the beginning of the deep dive. We've established that good people bring joy and peace, and bad people bring trouble and fear. But there is one standard on the list of bad people that completely shatters our cultural norms.
Oh, this is the one.
You are officially labeled a bad, evil person if you, and I'm quoting directly here, urge others to enter into marriage, traditional families, or any organizations.
In almost every culture on Earth, encouraging someone to settle down, find a partner, and build a community is seen as an act of profound love.
Yeah, it's how we weave the fabric of society.
But here, it is an act of malevolence.
Because if the institutions are the trap, then urging someone to get married means you are actively recruiting them into the devil's program. You are handing them the handcuffs.
You are luring them away from that free-flowing, independent state of grace, and you're dragging them back into the swamp of faction, struggle, and zero-sum competition.
You are putting them back on the treadmill of anxiety and affliction. You're essentially doing Satan's administrative work for him.
Yep. You become a middle manager for the devil.
So what does this all mean? When we zoom out and synthesize both of these texts, the overarching message is really a call for total liberation. Following the way of the greatest creator means completely detaching from the collective tribalism of humanity.
No nations, no traditional families, no political parties.
Because those structures inherently cause suffering. They are the mechanics of the lower order.
It is a profound, albeit severe, critique of the human condition. It suggests that our relentless evolutionary drive to organize, to claim ownership over people and land, and to build institutions, that is the root cause of our spiritual sickness.
It offers this fascinating, almost uncomfortable mirror to modern life. It suggests that the very things we are taught give us meaning and purpose. Building a career, raising a traditional family, fighting for a political cause, they are actually the source of our deepest anxieties.
They're traps.
Right. They're deliberately designed to feed this zero-sum cosmic machine. When you're stressed out of your mind about paying your mortgage or getting a promotion, you aren't failing at life. You are just fulfilling your quota for the devil's ledger.
And, that brings up a truly profound paradox that sits at the very heart of this zero-sum universe. It's a mechanical flaw in the philosophy that I'd love to leave you to ponder.
Oh, I love a good paradox. Lay it on us.
So, the text establishes as an unbreakable physical law that the universe fundamentally requires a perfect balance.
Right. The sum of positive energy and negative energy must equal zero.
Exactly. It's the only way the great drama can be staged. Life cannot survive without the tension between superior and inferior. Satan is working overtime to ensure the negative side of the scale is adequately weighted. But what would happen if humanity actually listened to this philosophy? What if we succeeded?
Wait, if we succeeded in dismantling the trap,
Think about the mechanics. If everyone on Earth suddenly woke up tomorrow, read this text, and universally detached from their organizations,
okay,
everyone dissolves their nations, abandons their factions, stops being jealous, and becomes perfectly independent, joy-bringing good people who leave no footprint.
well, the production of negative energy would plummet,
Yeah.
and the sum of positive energy would absolutely skyrocket. The scale wouldn't just tip, it would break.
Under the text's own internal rules, if that perfect balance of yin and yang is destroyed, the universe cannot function. If the negative energy disappears, the symmetry collapses.
Oh my gosh.
So wouldn't a perfectly peaceful, perfectly good world actually cause the universe to implode from the imbalance?
That is wild. It leaves you wondering, like, in a zero-sum universe, is total goodness even allowed? Or are we fundamentally required to have a little bit of the devil in us just to generate enough friction to keep the lights on?
It really forces us to ask if our flaws, our anxieties, and our selfish factions aren't just human errors, but load-bearing pillars of reality itself.
That is going to keep me up tonight.
Yeah.
Seriously. Are we allowed to be completely good, or would that break the universe? You at home, think about that the next time you're stressing over a spreadsheet, or attending a wedding, or arguing about politics. Are you fixing an error in your life, or are you just doing your part to keep the cosmic scales balanced at zero?
It's a lot to think about.
It really is. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the structures around you, keep looking for the balance, and we'll catch you next time.